The 105-year-old Almas Boghosian, once an Armenian Genocide orphan as Almas Boghosian, now lives in Whitensville, Massachusetts. She was 8 years old when the Turkish soldiers evicted her family from their ancestral home to join thousands of other Armenian refugees in what became the Starvation March to the desert of Deir Zor. Almas is the only survivor of the Boghosian family of Harput province.
I remember that. Well, they connected the door and took us out, and we had to walk. And they took my father early. Only women and children left. They killed my father, and we walk, and some of them dying, so kids left, and they newborn king. It's awful, I don't want to even remember it.
And as best as we can figure, she really went most of the way from Husanik to Deir Zor on foot with her family, and she was the only one of them that survived. Her younger sister died very early along the way, along the route, roughly following the Euphrates River.
The march to Deir Zor passed through Ras Al Ain, a major processing and annihilation center for the Armenian deportees along the deportation route.
She remembers going into a store in Suar with her mother, and she remembers the mother speaking to the Syrian owner of the store. They were speaking in Turkish, and that it was sort of an excited conversation, and it went on for some time. My grandmother became tired after a while and fell asleep in the store. What was happening was that my great-grandmother was trying to convince the store owner to adopt my grandmother.
I was in the Arabic house. They adopted me. They were good, very good family. And they said whoever had Armenian kid, they should bring it in the government house.
The relief agencies were making a plea for Syrian families that had adopted Armenian orphans to return those orphans to the relief agencies.
And they took us there, and that my second home, I was small, and little by little I started to love them, and that's and bring us in the orphanage, Halab, Syria.
She remembers food was scarce in the orphanage, and she would sometimes reserve her food. She would eat just enough so that she wasn't hungry anymore and hide the rest of it in various places.
We wake up in the morning, we all are sleeping in one room, about 20, 30, little by little. They feed me so we not die. We were starving. We were starving. Each one is very thin because no food. Not much bread and soup. Little.
One day while she was in the orphanage, she made contact through the gate of the orphanage. There were other children outside, street children, and sometimes she was able to talk to them through the orphanage gates. She was on the inside, they were on the outside. And one of them was her older sister, whom she had not seen in several years, since the time of the deportation. She remembers passing some of the food out to her older sister. And her older sister told her that the very day after her mother gave her to be adopted by the store owner, the next day her mother died.
A few weeks later, the street children, also known as the roaming Armenian orphans, were no longer begging at the gates of the orphanage. A rumor soon spread that the Ottoman gendarmes, annoyed by the children, had assembled and killed them all. Among the disappeared was Almas Boghosian's older sister.
She remembers it was a difficult life there. They taught the orphans to do, various tasks. They would have to help out in the orphanage. Some of them, like my grandmother, were taught how to make Armenian lace.
I learned this in orphanage. This is made by sewing needle, not crochet, sewing needle.
That's something that my grandmother has remembered, and all of her life she has made very beautiful Armenian lace. And a few years ago taught my daughter, her great-granddaughter, how to do the lace. So now my daughter knows how to do that very well.
In 1920, Almas Boghosian's aunt, living in Massachusetts, discovers that Almas was still alive and immediately claims her from the Aleppo orphanage and pays for her passage to America.
My aunt have 7 children. Her husband making $25, and she bring me here. That cost about $300 to come here. And after she married me, and I had my children, and that's
Almas Boghosian is considered to be one of the lucky Armenian genocide orphans who survived the horrors and atrocities of the genocide. Living in America 5,000 miles away from her ancestral home of Western Armenia, where she was driven out of, Almas started a family and raised 3 children who went on to complete postgraduate education. She lived to enjoy her 8 grandchildren, who made her a proud great-grandmother of 6.